Hello, everyone. Today, I would like to introduce to you 4 stories that a famous person once discovered. The Buddha once taught that there are 4 things in life that we cannot avoid forever. The first story describes the separation of life and death. The first story goes as follows. Inhale gently, follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose, and notice your belly softening and sinking. Once upon a time, in a small town by the sea, there lived a young couple, Lily and Jack. They were deeply in love, sharing quiet moments by the ocean, their hearts in perfect harmony. Jack worked as a fisherman, and every morning he would sail into the horizon, returning at dusk with the day's catch. Lily would wait for him, her heart light with joy whenever she saw his boat returning to the shore. One day, Jack received a letter. It was from a faraway city, calling him to take a job that would secure a better future for them. Though reluctant to leave, Jack knew this was a step he had to take. "I'll be back soon, Lily," he promised, his voice trembling as he kissed her goodbye. She tried to smile through her tears. "I'll wait for you, Jack. Always." Months passed, and the letters Jack had promised to send became fewer. Lily's heart grew heavy with worry, but she held on to hope, waiting by the sea every evening. The wind whispered, the sound of waves crashing on the shore, but Jack's boat never appeared. One fateful evening, a stranger arrived in the village. He brought tragic news. Jack had been in an accident while traveling. The moment Lily heard, the world around her stopped. Her heart shattered, her body numbing as the stranger's words echoed in her ears. Lily ran to the beach, the place where she and Jack had shared their happiest moments. The ocean stretched endlessly before her, just as it had that day Jack left. She kneeled on the shore, letting the salty water wash over her, feeling as though the sea itself mourned with her. "Why did you have to leave so soon?" she whispered, her voice swallowed by the roar of the waves. For weeks, Lily couldn't bring herself to leave the beach. The sea had become her only companion, and in the quiet of the night, she would hear the echoes of Jack's laughter in the wind. She didn't want to let go, even though she knew he was gone. The ocean was her anchor, but also her reminder that nothing in life stays forever. Years later, Lily grew old, but she never forgot Jack. Every day, she walked to the beach, watching the horizon with a hopeful heart, as if expecting him to return. And though he never did, the love they shared remained, timeless, like the endless waves of the sea. Their story lived on, whispered by the wind, carried in the hearts of those who knew them. The love of Lily and Jack was a love that even the sea couldn't erase, for it was forever etched in the memory of the world. Inhale gently, follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose, and notice your belly softening and sinking. The second story is about the desire to attain something but being unable to achieve the expected outcome. Once there was a man named William who had always dreamed of becoming a successful artist. He spent years painting in his small studio, pouring his heart and soul into each canvas. He had a vision of fame and recognition, thinking that one day his art would be displayed in galleries around the world. But despite his best efforts, nothing ever seemed to work out. He submitted his paintings to countless galleries, but each time he was rejected. The disappointment began to build up, and his passion slowly turned into frustration. William's dream of becoming a renowned artist seemed to slip further away with each passing year. He watched other artists find success and fame, and it made him feel even more disheartened. Why not me? He often wondered. What am I doing wrong? The more he questioned himself, the more the burden of unfulfilled desires weighed on him. He started to lose confidence in his own abilities, doubting whether he was truly talented or simply chasing an impossible dream. The dream that once filled him with hope now filled him with anger and sadness. The endless cycle of hope, followed by disappointment, made him feel trapped. One day, after receiving yet another rejection letter from a gallery, William couldn't take it anymore. He sat alone in his studio, surrounded by unfinished paintings, and began to feel a deep sense of bitterness. Why do I keep trying? He asked himself. Nothing ever changes. The once vibrant colors on his canvas now seemed dull, and the brushstrokes he made felt hollow. He had given everything to his passion, but the results never matched his expectations. Every effort seemed futile, as though he was running on a treadmill that never got him anywhere. William's friends began to notice the change in him. He no longer had the enthusiasm he once had for his work, and his face was clouded with frustration. They tried to encourage him, but his desire for recognition had grown so strong that nothing could lift his spirits. One evening, as he stood in front of his easel, he realized something important. Perhaps he had been focusing too much on the end result: fame, fortune, and recognition instead of enjoying the process itself. But by then, the longing for success had become so overwhelming that it was hard to let go of. His desire had consumed him, leaving little room for anything else. Every time he looked at a blank canvas, it no longer felt like an opportunity to create, but a reminder of his failure. The frustration and sadness grew, and William wondered if he would ever find peace with himself. The man had spent so many years chasing a dream that he had forgotten to live in the present. His unfulfilled desire had transformed into a source of bitterness, and with each passing day, it was becoming harder to let go. His heart ached, not from a lack of talent, but from the endless yearning for something that never seemed to come. In the end, William understood that the path to fulfillment wasn't always about achieving the expected outcome. But the journey he had taken, filled with frustration and disappointment, had taught him something valuable. Sometimes, Letting go of unattainable desires is the key to finding peace. Inhale gently, follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose, and notice your belly softening and sinking. Before dawn, the old monk stepped quietly into the mist, his bare feet greeting the earth like an old friend. The wooden porch creaked beneath him, but the silence was kind. He breathed in the still morning, letting it settle into his bones. The plum tree stood nearby, just beginning to bloom soft pink whispers, clinging to its branches. He bowed gently, not in worship, but in recognition of its quiet presence. Each blossom was a promise, delicate and fleeting. The tea in his hands released warmth into the cool air, its aroma steady, grounding. Birdsong drifted across the garden like threads of silk weaving the day together. For a moment, all things felt held, calm, continuous. But then the wind shifted. The sky, once blue, faded into uncertain gray. The petals trembled. Rain began setting, heavy, unannounced. The blossoms, still mid-bloom, were torn away before their moment had come. He stepped toward the tree, but it had already changed. The branches, once vibrant, now hung tired, bare. He sat at its roots, holding a fallen petal that had already begun to brown. Too fast, he murmured not to the tree, but to the moment itself. Change had arrived without knocking. It did not wait for readiness. Everything he thought would stay had already begun to leave. Even the breath in his lungs felt like a visitor. He remembered laughter from the past, now only echo. friend's promise, never fulfilled. The world, though still turning, was no longer the same. He looked up, light and shadow danced behind the clouds. It wasn't death that stung, it was how quickly things slipped away. How do you mourn what you didn't know was passing? He did not cry. He sat, still, letting the silence hold him. The wind moved. So did the clouds. So did his understanding. Impermanence is not the enemy, it is the nature of all things. And in that truth, peace quietly returned, like breath. Inhale gently, follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose, and notice your belly softening and sinking. And finally, the fourth story is about the pain that impacts both the body and the mind. Physical pain arrives unexpectedly, coming and going like impermanent waves across a vast ocean. He cannot predict when it will come, but always knows it will eventually leave. Each time pain arrives, he tries to receive it with calmness and patience. The pain comes in waves, sometimes gentle, sometimes intense, always demanding his attention. At first, it whispers beneath the skin, a dull ache growing heavier, pressing deep into muscles and bones. His body tightens, as if wearing a heavy cloak he cannot remove. Instead of resisting, he breathes deeply, inviting peace to settle amid the storm of sensations. Each breath grounds him, each exhale softens the tension, reminding him that everything will pass. The pain rises like a fierce wind through a wide-open field, sudden but never eternal. He learns to observe its rising and falling without fear or judgment, accepting it as part of his experience. Sometimes the pain subsides, leaving moments of calm like islands in a stormy sea. He treasures these moments, knowing they will help him weather the next storm. But the pain always returns, knocking persistently on body and mind, testing his patience. Frustration churns like dark clouds, yet he remains steady, anchored by a gentle whisper, "This too shall pass." He remembers he is not only flesh and bone, his spirit is vast and unyielding despite the suffering. He welcomes the pain as a teacher, allowing it to reveal patience and presence within him. Each sharp pulse teaches him stillness. Each wave of anguish invites a wider heart. The pain transforms from enemy to guide, pointing to impermanence and his inner strength. When relief arrives, he neither clings nor rejoices too much, embracing the cycle like seasons that endlessly change. He roots himself in the present moment, steady in breath and mind, ready for whatever comes next. Through cycles of pain and ease, loss and acceptance, he finds balance and grace. Each passing wave crosses his inner sky like drifting clouds, impermanent, and not defining who he is. Beneath the storm lies vast peace, waiting for him to return. By facing pain with openness and courage, he discovers previously unknown strength. The road ahead remains long and uncertain, but he walks with gentle resolve, one breath at a time. Each moment becomes a chance to deepen understanding and grow more whole. Pain no longer controls or defines him. It becomes a profound teacher bringing wisdom. He embraces this journey with gentle bravery, allowing struggle and peace to coexist. In this sacred balance, he finds deep peace beyond suffering. These things gradually become clear, we realize that life is truly unpredictable. But if we observe with calmness, everything becomes easier to accept. And gradually, peace begins to emerge, taking over our body and mind, making us stronger and more at ease. Inhale gently, follow the breath as it flows through your nose, fills your chest, and reaches down to your belly. Exhale, feel the breath leaving through your nose, and notice your belly softening and sinking. The more you focus on your breath, the more you become aware of your body and consciousness. The journey in the game of breath will become more and more fascinating if you truly cherish it. This habit also holds the key to unlocking every gateway to explore both body and mind. The upcoming sessions will be increasingly engaging, so stay tuned and continue practicing with me in this video and the next ones. Please click the subscribe button, like, and share with others if you find the video interesting and helpful. Thank you.